Hello, my name is Michael Garrick, and this is Poppin Culture. We're all about pop culture and the people that love it, also about the cultures that influence pop culture. Here with me is my guest, DaWayne Nettles. DaWayne is a comedian and an educator. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, brother. Glad to be here.
So, talk about being a comedian. What got you into being a comedian?
Really getting into comedy. To be honest, it was inspired by my coworkers. I've always been, I guess, a funny guy. So, telling jokes in the meetings and stuff like that. Just playing around with it. A lot of them really pushed me into getting into it, actively doing it, like on stage. So from there, I probably wrote for about a year and then ended up taking class, then actually getting on stage, and I've been at it since. Since February, yeah.
Nice. DaWayne is one of the funniest people I know. Like, definitely check him out in the Columbia area, and also you do a good bit around South Carolina in general.
Yes, sir.
So when you think of pop culture, what comes to your mind?
Oh man, I think of pop culture. I don't know. I'm just say when I think about me and just even my comedy and everything that I'm into, it kind of circles around pop culture and nostalgia and really just everything that encompasses it. And I think that's just been a big part of my life. Just having all these different intersections and just finding where it fits. So I really think pop culture is that's been my biggest influence, I would say.
Okay. Well, we say we're going to talk about black sitcoms.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any favorite that comes off?
Favorite black sitcom. I don't know, man. When I think about it, I'm a '90s kid. Like, grew up in the late '80s, early '90s. So I was a big Fresh Prince. Inspired by my jersey, my Fresh Prince of Bel-Air jersey. Family Matters, Martin, of course Cosby Show. It's so many, man. Living Single, Girlfriends. It was so many great ones, I would say.
Nice. Those are definitely some of my favorites too. I noticed that a lot of comedians had their own sitcom.
Yeah.
Even now, do you think that's a trend that's going to keep going, or do you think they'll pull that back? Because I think that's always been a trend, starting with Stanford and Son.
Right. I mean, it feels almost like a natural segue. Like you get into stand up and then you just transition to either movies or films or TV. So I think it is a natural progression. Like once you reach a certain level, maybe, like it's almost like just the next step.
Nice. Well, I thought we'd just sit down and talk about the evolution of black sitcoms. Yeah. When I did my research, I found that Stanford and Son was the first one that showed up. That first premiered in 1972.
Right.
That's really one of my favorite shows. Do you have any episodes that you remember?
I'm trying to think. I wasn't a big Sanford and Son fan, but if I reflect back to like older sitcoms, I was a big Amen fan.
Yes.
Really anything with Sherman Hemsley, Amen, the Jeffersons, like all that stuff. I was a big fan of. So I think Jeffersons was the first, probably the oldest black sitcom I remember that I really got into. Of course, Amen. I'm trying to think what else. 227.
227.
Like
yes.
a lot of the older stuff. Sanford and Son here and there. I watched a little bit. I don't know. I feel like I'm the only comic that wasn't a super big Red Fox fan. But I mean, he's fun. I think it's fun. I love his stand up, but I didn't really get into his television too much.
Okay. I wasn't a big fan of Jeffersons, but I am a humongous fan of Good Times.
Oh, yeah, Good Times. Good Times is the most inappropriately named show of all time.
It's a big oxymoron.
Like, nothing about this show is good.
Not one thing. It's one of the shows where it's like they had a good black father, and it was like, what we gonna do? Let's kill him.
We gotta kill him.
We gotta kill him off. Wow. We can't keep that on TV.
They burn Penny with iron.
Yeah, real quick.
Man.
But then we moved to 1984, the Cosby Show.
Oh yeah. Our guy.
Yeah. Of course.
The skeleton in the closet.
Yeah, a lot of skeletons in the closet. But for that time, that show, like...
That was a staple.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was, like, it made so much money for ABC. I know that off top. But just what the show represented was, like, it wasn't like Good Times where everybody was struggling. Like, you had a doctor, and I can't remember what his wife did.
What was Camille? Camille, what did she play? She was a...
I can't remember at this moment.
Was she a doctor? She was a therapist? She was something with a high level degree.
But exactly, yeah. Like, But it was just one of those things where it just showed like, okay, you know, it's not just moving on up. It's like, no, they've been there.
Right,
like,
we've been here. We
like,
established.
Yeah, like we raising kids. Like, it's nobody struggling. It's nothing about we worried about like the elevator not working.
Right.
Like,
there was now think about it, there was never a struggle Cosby episode.
No.
Never. All the issues were like you need to listen to your parents. Like, if you don't listen to your parents, that's what happens.
Yes. I think the biggest struggle episode on the Cosby Show was probably about somebody eating his sandwich. Besides that, there was no struggle. But from that, they had a spinoff called A Different World.
Different World, yep.
I went to a technical school. I think you said you went to a university.
Yep. Yeah, I went to HBCU, matter of fact.
Oh, wow. Shout out. Okay, all right. Good. Would you say A Different World was one of the reasons they encouraged you to go?
I don't know, man. Cause I know for me, matter of fact, I had a heated conversation with my friends not too long ago, just about our upbringings and just how drastically different they were. Mm-hmm. So I remember we were talking, and he was like, "Man, I can't relate to the Cosby Show," and I was like, "Well, I kind of could. Like, my mother and father was in the household; they both had degrees, and just college going was our thing." So I'm like, I think more black people can relate to this than you think. So I don't know. Maybe not A Different World specifically, because I guess I saw it in the household growing up, but which is good to see. I guess young black people on a college campus, and it just looked fun. I was like, yo, this is something I can see myself doing. So it wasn't the catalyst for me going necessarily, but it definitely was a big influence as far as like, I can see myself in that space, you know, with people that with everybody looks like you on campus. Where you see and meet people, like-minded people, and really people, I would say too, like another part of pop culture for me. With Dwayne Wayne, I was like, yo, he just looks fresh. Like, you know, he wears Jordans, like he wears bright colors. That was just like somebody I wanted to be like. So I know it was, so maybe not the college piece per se, but just seeing different characters on film, you're like, yo, I could see a lot of myself in those people. So that was kind of big for me. Nice.
And then we transition again to 1989, just 2 years later, The Family Matters.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I put the on it. Family Matters. Another show with just a strong family. The dad's a cop.
Yes.
Carl. Yeah, Carl was a cop. Do you remember the episode where the cops beat up Eddie?
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Eddie got beat by the police.
It was one of those few episodes where it stuck in my mind because it was just, you know, because most shows, not saying they went around it at that time, but that was the first show that was like, no, we're going to talk about it and we're not going to like sugarcoat it. Like, we're going to
hit on. Yeah. Now I think about Family Matters they touched some
big subjects.
They touched some deep stuff. And surprisingly, with the network it is on, it's kind of looking back at it, not thinking about it at the time. I guess being too young to really understand it. You know, there's some deep stuff to be putting on cable television in front of the world, I would say. But yeah, Family Matters was one of my favorite shows growing up, man. Carl, really just the family dynamic, and really I would say too, like learning the backstory behind it with Urkel, knowing that he was initially like just gonna be a one episode character, and he just kind of took the show over. And I would say for me, like Urkel was one of those is. When you think about television and pop culture, he's like one of those iconic characters you just remember. Like Urkel was the nerd, but he was the star of the show at the same time. So I think that kind of resonated with me too. I'm like, yo, it's cool to be the nerd. Like, so I think I drew a lot of comfort seeing him on stage. Like, he was comfortable in himself. You know, he did him, and to be honest, he was persistent. Yeah. Like, he chased Laura for 7 seasons.
Yeah, he definitely didn't believe in giving up. He changed her so much he became somebody else.
Right. You done transform. You done dedicate your body to science. Yeah. I'm gonna change who I am.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take my glasses off and put a suit on. But
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this is how I really look, ladies. So if you meet me, if you see me in real life,
Family Matters told us how shallow Laura really was. Now you take your glasses. Now you take your glasses off.
Why are we rooting for this person?
Take off your cardigan. You know what? I'll fuck you now. Yeah.
It's like the whole time I'm watching the show, I'm rooting for Myra. Like let him end up with Myra.
I felt so bad for Myra. I feel like Myra was me. Yeah. I'm like, once I become who I truly want to be, I'm gonna leave you. You know that, right? You know that, right? Yeah. Sorry, Myra.
Oh man. Another thing that the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air gets a lot of heat about, but nobody ever talks about. Did you realize that the wife changed?
When they replaced everybody realized when they replaced Aunt Viv.
No, I'm talking about on Family Matters. Didn't they?
Oh yeah, they matter of fact, who did they change? They changed somebody.
They changed the wife, didn't they?
Did they?
I want to say they did.
They may have. I remember then Family Matters too.
That's what I'm saying. Family Matters did it first, I believe.
And then the now I think about black sitcoms are notorious for recycling characters out like nothing happened. Remember?
Do you remember Family? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Remember the little sister that disappeared?
Yeah, went upstairs and never came back. Went upstairs and never came back. I think she does porn now.
I think she does. Well, you go upstairs and don't come back for 7 seasons. I do porn too. What do you think she up there doing?
She's an adult now. The show.
She was always here.
She's an adult now.
That was the first OnlyFans. She was upstairs getting her views.
But she's a 100% adult. I know how this sounded, but she's 100% adult now.
Don't come back down.
Yeah,
stay up there.
I'll say Poppin culture do not want that attention. But then we cycle to the 1990s when In Living Color.
Right.
How did not that 70s show? I apologize, guys. Saturday Night Live had already been a staple for such a long time. They have In Living Color come out. Do you think it was a good competition at that time? I can only go by reruns. I know you say you grew up in like the late.
I remember watching it, man. I remember, and this is before I even got into comedy as a consumer, I would say. So I guess just watching and I didn't realize what I was watching. But I just remember, and I guess not knowing, when you're a kid, you don't realize something as edgy as it is. It's either funny or it's not. Like looking back at it as an adult, I'm like, yo, how did this make it on the air? Like Handyman? Like, like Handyman? I'm like Men on Film? I'm like, yo, how did any of this make it on the air? But I would say In Living Color was definitely edgier. Like it was pushing the boundaries. But then again, it was on Fox, so it was pushing the boundaries. It was doing stuff that you wouldn't necessarily see on Saturday Night Live. So I think that was the biggest thing. And then I think In Living Color, even though it wasn't an all black cast, it was a primarily black cast. So you just saw a lot of black comics just coming together, collaborating, and just doing great work. And really, to think about it, like everybody from that show, black or white, kind of was launched into the stratosphere after that. Jim Carrey, all the Wayans, like, man, David Allen Greer, Tommy Davidson,
even J-Lo, and she was just
Jennifer Lopez is out there dancing, just out there dancing. Like, man, so yeah, In Living Color was a big staple. Even a theme song, man, it was just dope.
It was the perfect theme song for the show, also.
Right.
We go to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is, I believe, a show that can like keep going forever. I think the reruns are still amazing. Again, seeing like a black family, and not just like a regular job. Like he was a judge.
He was a judge. Yep.
I forgot which wife did what.
Right, which one?
I forgot which wife did what. But just see that, it's wealth out there. It's not just like one, like just the Cosby Show. Like it's wealth out there. It's not just struggling. And I think just showing that, which is good to show struggling also, to be realistic. But it was also good to see that point of view. It was like, no, like there's a lot of us doing well.
Right. I think the big thing about it, like it was able to show black people on different levels, doing different things. So it wasn't, I think a lot of people, and still do, like look at black people as one thing. Like all black people, if you don't fit inside this box, you're not black. So I think having all those shows out there just showed the different levels of what black looks like, I think.
Exactly. Do you have a favorite Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episode?
What's my favorite Fresh Prince episode? I'm trying to think, man. Like it's so many great. Now I know the one that made me cry. Every time. Why you don't love me, yo? I'm like, yo, listen. To this day, I watch the episode. I would break down and cry.
Same here, man.
Look, that and the finale when he comes back and like the house is empty. It was like, man, this is like, yo, this is over. Like this is over. So yeah, I think those two were like two of the biggest that I remember. Now I love the episode when Will and Carlton were pledging, and they selected Will and then select Carlton. I was like, what? I'm like, man, so it's so many. I think Fresh Prince, it was funny, but the episodes I remember the most are like those poignant episodes where they like send a message and you're like, oh, okay, this is what it is. So I think that's probably what stuck with me. Like it's just, and it's probably why it stands the test of time too. Because some shows are just funny. You can watch back, like, oh, that's funny. But like some of these shows are just like, man, this had like real meaning to it.
And just like we said in Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air also had an episode where they went to jail.
Yep, they got locked up. Mm-hmm.
And that was when they had the black Aunt Viv, not the light skin. Like,
right, the dark.
Like she came in, like took the earrings off and everything. So
Black Aunt Viv was the truth. Remember Black Aunt Viv? That's a shame we call it Black Aunt Viv.
Okay, all right.
you know what I mean?
Both of them are black.
You know what I mean? As a light skinned person, I can see that.
Yeah.
Dark skin Aunt Viv.
Yes, there we go. Dark skin Aunt Viv. We'll go with that one.
Remember she came through and had and she was dancing in the dance class. Yeah. I was like, yo, like this is crazy. Man, I love Fresh Prince. That's one of my favorites, man. Real talk.
Yes. And then we go to 1992. One of my favorite shows, which a lot of these are my favorite shows, but one of my favorite shows, and I think has the most famous one-bedroom apartment in television, would be Martin.
Yes, Martin. I think the thing about Martin's one of those first comics I saw play like multiple roles on the episode. Like you'll see him, and you was a fan of every character he played. So like it was just like seeing the transformation and seeing him really getting each character was hilarious. What's my girl name he played? Shanae. And there's a thing about it, like there's always a debate about comics who dress as women, but like Martin did it seamlessly. Like with Shanae, there was no questions about it. And no one questions his comedic timing with doing it. And I think about Martin's done this a few times. Like he's at Big Mama's house. Martin does not mind playing a woman. But I think that's one of his strengths. Like he just so into whatever he does. You know. And I think that's the strength of Martin. But yeah, I love Martin. And really him and Pam's dynamic on the show, our role. Then really so much stuff about the show is I can't even think about it. Like to this day. Like in the black community, if somebody call you Tommy, that means you ain't got no job.
Exactly.
Like you ain't got no job. That's a Tommy. Then Bruh Man was iconic coming through the window. Bruh Man from the 5th floor. What else was Martin? Martin was great. Oh, then too, like the subliminal messaging. Martin wore like different HBCU gear on every episode, and like I didn't even peep that until looking back as an adult. I'm like, yo, he was repping like every episode with something. So I think it's just a lot. It was a big and it was a little more edgy too. So I know a lot of people I know like they still say like Martin's their favorite show. Yeah, like to this day,
people quote
like, favorite episodes, quoting lines. I know people to this day watch every time. If Martin's on, they will sit and watch it, like regardless, every episode.
I know people that bought BET Plus just
to go back and watch Martin.
And then we go to 1993, which a show that I think a lot of people slept on was Living Singles.
Oh yeah, Living Singles great. Living Singles great, man. Like looking back at it, like it's really a show headlined by 4 black women. I was like, man, this was really iconic at the time. Then looking back at really Queen Latifah, that's the first time I saw her like really stepping outside of Queen Latifah can do something besides rap. So I think really that kind of launched her into like superstardom, I would say. So that's probably one of my favorites too. I'm trying to think what else. I think Living Single was almost like the precursor to Girlfriends. I think
it was definitely the precursor. It was definitely the precursor to Friends.
And definitely the precursor to Friends. Yeah. We know how I feel about Friends. I'm not gonna mention that on the show.
Okay. Next. And now this is where I get to Disney and Nickelodeon.
Right.
The first Disney sitcom to have Disney black sitcom was Sister in 1994.
Yes. Oh, sister, listen, I have a crush on them girls to this day. I was in love with Tia and Tamara, boy. But listen, I think too, like I was talking to my friend about Sister not too long ago. Sister is one of those shows that it aged gracefully. Like it's one of the few shows that transitioned from a child show, and they went all the way up until by the time they got to college, and the show was still good. So I think really Sister was a show you was able to kind of grow with. So I think that was dope. I love Sister. And then too, what was
another Disney show would be Smart Guy.
I was about to say that they're brothers. Yeah, the Smart Guy. Listen, I have a love-hate relationship with Smart Guy because being a young light-skinned man about the same age as Taj Mowry, I got Smart Guy quite a lot growing up. So I I love the show, but I hate people calling me smart guy my entire life.
Smart Guy was the only reason why I bought Disney Plus when it first came out.
You go back and watch it?
Yeah, no, I went back and watched every episode. I'm a big fan. Another thing about Sister, they had Jackie Harry, and like you said, Jackie Harry was in 227.
Right, 227.
So just to see that, okay, they still had, and they had he was on the Electric Company.
What's his name?
Man, he's a funny comedian too.
Yeah, I can't think of his name though.
He was in It also, the original It.
Yep.
But the father, the father, I guess you would say,
the daddy,
the guy that played the dad.
Well, one of the daddies.
Yeah, one of. It was just a great, it was a great show. Very funny. And then they had Roger, Marcus Houston.
Marcus Houston. Batman.
Just see. Just see all those guys. Yeah, and majority of them, even Marcus, he makes hits now and again. Every 5 years he'll drop a solo. But just see them still working, even at the early to late years, is great. And then we go to Nickelodeon. Because I guess Nickelodeon's like, nah, we got to get one of these two.
You got to get this out there.
Kenan and Kel.
Kenan and Kel. Really, Kenan and Kel, and even before Kenan and Kel, all that was almost like the children's version of In Living Color to me.
Exactly.
So, but really, Kenan and Kel, like, to see them get the spin-off off of all that and get their own show, and like really to highlight those two, like it was funny, man. Like every episode was something different. And it was child tailored, but like it was just real. I don't know. It's like for me, it's like a pop culture staple almost.
Exactly.
And then them getting the movie after that when they got Good Burger. When Good Burger got the movie, I was like, man. I know people to this day. Like I know people that would say Good Burger is their favorite movie.
It's mine.
See?
It is one of my favorite movies.
Good Burger. Who was it? Sinbad was in it.
Yes.
That was a big movie, man. I love Good Burger. But Kenan and Kel, that's iconic. And then looking at what Kenan does now, and see him on SNL and like not even realize how long he's been on there. Like, yo, he's literally the longest standing cast member in SNL history. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like Kenan Thompson from all that is SNL, the guy on SNL.
But yeah, remember Kenan got his start with Mighty Ducks.
That is right. He wasn't Mighty Ducks.
So like I remember seeing an interview where Kel Thompson was like, I had to catch up with Kenan because and now Kel does great. He has little Nickelodeon shows. Right. He also is a pastor.
I heard that, yeah.
So both of them guys. Plus, I feel the same way about Drake and Josh as how you feel about Friends. So we'll just leave it like that.
Exactly.
We'll just leave it like that.
I know a Kenan and Kel knockoff when I see it.
For real, man.
I've seen this somewhere.
Yeah. I've seen it done better.
and better.
Way
and
better.
blacker.
Yes. Way better.
Listen, man, before you even go there, I don't even know if this is racist or if it was true.
Okay.
The Kel's love for orange soda, like that's the blackest.
It could have been. No, they said grape.
If it was grape soda.
If it was grape,
they slightly changed it. Like, can't be grape.
No,
we make it orange soda.
They had that one black person that was in that meeting, like, whoa, trust me, we should make it orange.
Can't be grape. Like, right. Orange soda it is.
Yes. And I believe he's now officially a billionaire. Shout out to him. I just put it all together. Tyler Perry sitcoms.
Oh, Tyler. Let's talk about Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry sitcoms, I would say House of Pain was pretty good. Tyler Perry is like either hit or miss for me. Like some of his stuff is really good. What's the other one? Meet the Browns, and I did love Meet the Browns. Meet the Browns pretty good. What else was it? It was something else. Only thing with Tyler Perry, it's with your sitcoms ain't quite as bad. Like his stuff is so predictable. I'm like, I saw that coming a mile away.
Very true. Very true. Like. 100% true. He writes everything himself. He doesn't have a writer's room.
That might be the issue. Tyler Perry, if you're watching, I'm available and I'm cheap. I will come write something for you.
Same here.
I'll let you take the ending. I'll write the rest of it. Because we know it's going to end the same. I'm not going to take that from you.
I'm not saying any of this. This is all him on this one. But he really, really, when I say he went hard for black sitcoms, because he could have easily went a different route.
Definitely. Yeah.
And maybe even he's a billionaire, so I don't want to say make more money. That's not the way I want to word it. But he could have made more billions. But he definitely was never ashamed to stick with his audience.
Right. That's one thing I was at Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry rocks with he knows his audience. He knows who consumes his content, and he focuses on it. So I can't even be mad at him, man. And to look at where he come from, like, man was literally sleeping in his car, like doing plays, self-funded plays, and now the man's a billionaire with his own production company. Took over a former Confederate war. Like, man, this is base, yeah. And this, like, man, listen, that man's winning. Tyler Perry is winning.
Yes, and I didn't mean to skip, but I also want to give credit to Nickelodeon with Cousin Skeeter.
Oh, listen, the introduction to Megan Good. My God, how can we skip out on that?
I feel like Cousin Skeeter, I want to say it only had 2 seasons. I think a lot of people wouldn't know what Cousin Skeeter is.
Slip on Cousin Skeeter, man.
Would you be able to explain to them what Cousin Skeeter?
So Cousin Skeeter was like, because he was a puppet, wasn't he?
Yeah, but the voice was Bill Bellamy.
Bill Bellamy was the voice. So like the main character was it what's my boy name? Played.
He was in a lot of Tyler Perry sitcoms also.
He was. Anyway, Cousin Skeeter was Cousin Skeeter was the only puppet on the show. Everybody else was real people. What was Cousin Skeeter about? Now think about it.
Cousin Skeeter was, I believe, a troubled kid that moved in with his uncle and aunt, and it was like the first
Prince with a puppet.
And they moved into like their, I want to say, the apartment or condo, and just their adventures together in I want to say Chicago. It may not have been Chicago.
Gotta be a real black city though.
But
all Nickelodeon shows take place in black cities.
It was
Chicago.
I don't know. It was a very nice neighborhood too. But it was just I enjoyed the show. They actually had a movie which was a crossover with Kenan and Kel.
They did. Yep.
Yeah. Kenan and Kel actually had a lot of Nickelodeon movies too, like just straight to
DVD. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Wait, was it straight to DVD or was it straight to VHS? Straight to VHS.
Yeah, but like they aired on Nickelodeon. Like my favorite movie they had besides Good Burger was remember the Halloween movie they had?
What was it called?
Kenan and Kel. They went to
like a Halloween special.
Yeah, like they went, but it was like an hour long. But I remember they went to Transylvania or something. They went to some mansion.
It had to be something stupid.
Yeah, it was definitely. Yeah, it was funny. But yeah, that was definitely when you got to see like Megan Good, not from Friday, but like teenage Megan Good. You know.
Oh, good old. I'm reflecting right now. I'm gonna go back and watch some Disney Plus, some Nickelodeon on demand.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. Good stuff.
And while we talking about it, was there any black sitcoms that you think ended too early?
Yo, this is more contemporary and this is like recent. The Carmichael Show. Did you watch the Carmichael Show ended way too prematurely.
Thank you.
Carmichael Show was a great show. It was just over one day.
It was written well. It was directed well. It was a story that like a lot of people could relate to. Yes. It was perfect. Like it was a perfect show. Introduced a lot of big actors and actresses. Had a lot of great comedians. That was the first time I ever heard of from Girls Trip, She Ready.
Oh, Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah, that was the first place I ever saw Tiffany Haddish.
Man, Carmichael Show. Matter of fact, it wasn't like Lil Rel was on there.
Yeah, Lil Rel got his own show too.
Listen, we gonna speak on.
He just tried too hard.
I supported Lil Rel's show.
Me too.
Faithfully, and every time I watched, I was like, "This is terrible. Like this is terrible. It's cringeworthy."
He tried to be Martin, but he tried
to be Martin and like. When they try to put like the serious moments at the very end, I'm like, this is not working. Or the Lil Rel show, I supported strong for season 1. I was like, I'm watching a bad show because I love Lil Rel this much.
I thought the best thing about that show was Sinbad.
Yep, Sinbad was good. Yeah, there was one episode.
It was only one season.
Yeah, I know, right? It was only like 8 episodes. But there was one episode that was funny. Remember the guy, like, he floated down to the that was like the best part. But Lil Rel show was, it was trash. It was trash.
Are there any other shows that you think of?
Contemporary? I'm not a big Blackish guy. I like the show, the episodes I watch. But the spinoff, Grownish, I'm a big fan of Grownish. Black AF is good. I'm a big Insecure fan. What else is out? Atlanta is great. What else is contemporary? I like real black sitcoms. I'm trying to think of anything we missed. There were so many, man. Moesha. I was a big Moesha fan. I wasn't a big Moesha fan. Moesha, the Parkers.
The Parkers is way more funny than people give credit
Parkers
to.
is way funnier than Moesha was. Oh, my show. My Wife and Kids.
Yes.
My Wife and Kids.
Oh man, that show was like well done. Like
that's another show they replaced.
Yep.
They replaced the character. They replaced the daughter in season 2.
With Megan Good, right?
It wasn't Megan Good. It was a little light skinned. It was a little light skinned girl.
I'm thinking of like everybody, the little kid, the guy dated, because he dated his girlfriend changed like every episode. You remember that? His girlfriend, because Megan Good was on the show for maybe 2 episodes. Then they got another girl.
It was cycling out.
Yeah, it was
all
like
you black people look alike.
Yeah,
no one's gonna notice.
Yeah, no, it's like nobody wanted to act with him. I guess I don't know.
Wasn't it, Steve Harvey show?
Yeah, Steve Harvey show was very well done.
That was done well. Oh, the Hughleys. Man, for every king of comedy had a show.
I didn't like the Hughleys.
You like the Hughleys?
I did not like the Hughleys.
I rocked the Hughleys. What's another one? There was another.
And they had the actor from Living Singles on the Hughleys.
Yeah. What's Dwayne Martin? They had a show for a second. It was on like that long.
Exactly.
Dwayne Martin and Tisha Campbell. What was it called?
Divorce, I guess. Didn't he get divorced?
Did they all know? Their marriage lasted longer than the show. What's another? Oh, Malcolm and Eddie. Malcolm and Eddie was. I kind of like Malcolm and Eddie.
I had to force myself to watch it.
The WB had a lot of black. Black shows.
Thank you. That's where I was going to. Yeah, WB was definitely. It's just sad. Like they had. Like they just went under. Like apparently.
They tanked.
Yeah. Apparently, the reason why WB went under was they had like one night where it was like nothing but black sitcoms, another night where it was nothing but like white sitcoms, another night where it was nothing but like I guess sports shows, and I guess that's just not a good way to work a company because it's like if I miss one day, then I'm not gonna be able to watch the show I want to watch.
I gotta wait a whole another week to come back around,
and that's just not a good way to work.
Like dang it, I work Wednesdays. I can't watch any black television.
I'm not gonna sit here and watch Home Improvement. I guess I do like Home Improvement. Shout out.
I do love him. Shout out to Tim, the 2-man Taylor.
You know, Tim went to jail for
what?
Apparently, before he became a comedian, Tim Allen sold crack and sold cocaine and did like 3 years for cocaine.
In all fairness, comedians don't make any money, so he was just trying to support.
He was trying
to support himself by being a comedian.
He was trying to get to that next show, and he got.
Dang it.
Sold to the wrong person.
Got pulled over on the way to the show.
Apparently.
Oh, man. Do animated shows count as sitcoms?
Yeah, sure.
Boondocks is my favorite animated show of all time.
Everything but the 4th season.
Fourth season. I don't know what you're talking about. Right?
Exactly.
4th season didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about either.
That doesn't exist.
It was very well done, well written, and you could tell there was a lot of passion put into it by everyone that had a part in it.
And everybody want to be a part of Boondocks, man. Like everybody who's anybody was involved with doing voiceovers and stuff for Boondocks. Love Boondocks, and it was so like I guess socially conscious and being funny at the same time. That's my wheelhouse right there. So I love everything about Boondocks, man. Stink Meena, Uncle Ruckus,
nigga moment.
It's the nigga moment. Oh God, what's another? Tom Dubois.
Yes.
His name is conveniently Tom. He's an Uncle Tom. So.
And it was cleverly, everything on that show was in there for a reason.
It was cleverly put in there. Grandpa Freeman. You were Freeman. And he was wealthy too. They lived in a nice neighborhood. Yeah. They moved from Chicago to Grandpa.
Stank Meaner.
Oh, Stank, listen. Everything about Boondocks is hilarious. What's my other guy?
Uncle Ruckus.
No, Uncle Ruckus. Reverend Rollo Goodlove. CeeLo.
CeeLo was also in the Cleveland Show before he ended.
Yeah, that's another great technically black sitcom. Yeah. Most of the voices aren't black per se, but
except for Cleveland.
Characters are black.
Except for Cleveland. Cleveland. They had Kanye West on like 3 episodes.
Kenny West.
Kenny West, yeah. Kenny West.
What else? Proud Family.
Proud Family, yes.
Proud Family, another black animated show. Great sitcom.
Yeah. Very well done.
It's a lot of good shows.
We have it went from, it's a good history of well done shows. And I feel like for the ones that were very, very good that we remember, they always made sure to not sugarcoat when they needed to, but also be funny. And I think that's something that we have to give a lot up to writers and also the actors and directors.
Definitely.
They felt like majority of them felt like, I guess, they knew what they had to represent, and for the most part, I think they represented everything very well.
Right, that's probably the biggest thing too. They never, for the most part, especially the great ones, they didn't sacrifice the poignant moments for a laugh. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Yes, and for me, I don't think there were many, if any, cheap laughs.
Oh yeah, and almost never.
Yes.
No, well, nothing that lasted at least.
Exactly. 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 Like us as black people, we'll read that out real quick. Real quick. So thank you so much for being on the Poppin.
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to tell your fans?
Check me out. Still hitting these streets in COVID. Catch me on most Mondays, most Tuesdays in Columbia. Follow me on IG at Mr. Nettles, MisterNettles, and you can see where I'm at. Oh, and also follow my podcast, Laughs and Hip Hop Podcast, on Instagram.
Tell it to them one more time.
Laughs and Hip Hop Podcast at Instagram.
Okay. What audio platforms can they find it on?
You can find me we're almost everywhere. We're on YouTube for the audio, for the video version. We're on Spotify, Apple Music. We're everywhere. Check us out. Search us. You'll find us.
And it's a great podcast. Him and his friends, they put on a great podcast. But yeah, thank you guys so much. This is Poppin Culture. Have a great day.